Hey, what's up guys? My name is Rob Richards and thank you for joining me on my workout today where the focus is all on the upper chest. In particular, helping to thicken out and create a deeper groove in the middle of the chest. The first exercise that I'm going to be doing is an incline dumbbell press with a lightweight, high volume, about 15-20 repetitions to help pump some blood into that muscle and warm me up for some of the bigger movements later on in the workout. Already starting to feel my chest warmed up, and before I move on to my second warm-up set, I'm just going to open out my chest, help to increase those muscle fibers and separate them, allowing more blood and nutrients and oxygen to get to the muscle when I start to overload with heavier weight. So just a simple stretch, holding for 20 seconds, breathing in, and when you breathe out, just try and increase that stretch a little further so you can feel it stretch out and ease in the chest. Time for the second work set, and for this, even though it's a warm-up, I still want to add some more weight, only so that it's about 50-60% of my usual lifting weight. Before I start lifting, I want you to pay close attention to my form. I'm starting with the dumbbells at the side of my chest and pushing them up in a triangle motion, meeting at the top. Then pull them back down to the side of my chest, keeping my wrist and my elbow in the same plane of movement. Check it out. That's the warm-up done. Now I can move on to the first of my three main exercises and really start to add some weight on to overload and help build out my chest. Like with all exercises, breathing is really important, especially with muscle groups that you're working around the heart and lungs. And as the chest pretty much sits on top of the heart and the lungs, it's really important to get the breathing right to get the most out of the exercise. On this one, I'm going to breathe out as I push up, making sure all of the breath is out of my lungs at the end of the movement so I can focus and really get that deep contraction in my upper chest. Then breathe in through my nose as I lower back down, not allowing the weights to touch. Always keep a slight gap so you keep that tension high on the muscle. Starting to push me now to the end of my limits. That's good. This is right where I need to be. If you think about the muscle fibers that come into play, they're called type 2 muscle fibers. Type 1 are slow twitch, and you get them in like your abdominals or your calves, and these are muscles that are worked every day. The bigger type 2 muscle groups, or white muscle fibers as they're sometimes known, are the ones that react fast. They can handle a lot of strength and power, but they also fatigue fairly quickly. These are the muscle groups that we're working on the big, powerful compound movements such as the chest. So we really can add as much weight on until we get to that 10 rep max. I think I can handle some more. Like with any exercise, whether you're doing body weight, free weight or machine, your form and technique are so important. We've covered on the first work set how to do the dumbbell incline press, and I've touched upon breathing, but I really want to talk about form on this particular exercise, especially when we start to add more weight to it. People have a tendency that when they lift weight up to train their chest, they tend to lift their lower back away from the back pad. Well, this actually takes effort away from the chest and transfers it to muscles around the lower back. So it's important when you're lifting to keep your lower back firmly pressed down into the back pad. So for this, breathe out, but keep your belly button pulled in. This will help keep you anchored to the bench and get the most out of the exercise. Those last few reps were really quite hard, but I got it done and I can really feel it in my upper chest. Now it's time to move on to the next exercise and focus on a fly movement to help carve out some detail and thickness into my upper inner chest. Let's go. This next exercise is an incline cable fly movement. So unlike the previous two movements where I'm doing a pressing action which will help thicken out the upper portion of the chest here, the fly movement involves the inner area of the chest. So with enough weight and good form and technique, this will help me carve out, define, and add some detail into the inner portion of my chest. As per usual, 10 reps lifting as much weight as I can manage. That feels great. Very different movement from the pressing movement. I can really feel it in the upper area of the chest. Little tip on form. When you're lifting, you want to try and keep your arm fixed, having a slight bend in the elbow, so don't keep it straight, but at the same time, don't bend it. Otherwise, you start to involve the bicep and the tricep and take a lot of the effort away from the inner chest. Let's have a short rest period, no longer than 1 minute. Meantime, I'll add some more weight on so I can continue to push and overload my body with that 10 rep max. Time for work set number 2. Now I've added about 10 or 15% more weight than my last set. And if you think of it like that, instead of numbers as a percentage, you can be that much more consistent with your increases every workout. Instead of adding a little bit more weight here and not enough weight there, it's not enough of a signal for your body to have to adapt. And that's the key word here, adaptation. If we slowly push the body each time, it doesn't take it into shock. The body can adapt to a small change of about 15% increase. So that's your limit there. Aim for 10 repetitions and try to increase it no more than 15% from your last set to really allow your body to adapt and grow and get stronger. That one definitely felt harder, but I've still managed to get 10 reps, which tells me I can increase the weight even more until I'm struggling with 8 or 9 reps. Let's get those plates on. Yep, that one did it.